Welcome back to a new video. I am going to be showing you guys how I made this cinnamon sourdough star, perfect for the holidays. So we are going to start off with 200 grams of warm milk, and I added a little bit of cold milk right here because the milk was too hot. But then I added 7 grams of instant yeast, and I added 50 grams of sugar. Mix the ingredients together. I let them sit for a few minutes while the instant yeast got a little frothy. And then I added 125 grams of either sourdough discard or active starter. And then I added 2 room temperature eggs. I go ahead and mix these two together. And once they're mixed, I go ahead and add 10 grams of salt, and then I mix it together again, and I add 540 grams of bread flour. You can use all-purpose, and then I go ahead and mix everything together. After I mix the dough together, I add 113 grams or 1 stick of room temperature butter. I start off by mixing it with my spatula, and then I go in with my hands. I just mix it with the spatula at first. That way most of the butter is incorporated and it doesn't just stick to my hands. So you're going to see here that I am going to start mixing it with my hands, and I like to knead the dough for at least 5 to 10 minutes. I knead the dough with my knuckles, as you can see here, because I feel like it's better for my wrist and I feel like it gets the job done. So here I noticed that my dough was a little bit too tacky, so I added literally just a tad bit of flour. I just sprinkled flour over it, and then it turned into this beautiful dough that doesn't stick to my fingers or to my hands. So if your dough is a tad bit sticky, just add a tiny bit of flour. You don't need much. So we're gonna leave this to rest on the counter until it doubles in size. Mine took about 2 hours. And then I decided to weigh the dough, and it weighed about 1,153 grams. So I went ahead and split the dough into 4 equal pieces. I aimed for about 280 grams, I think. So after splitting up my dough, I go ahead and start to shape it into a circle. I like to use this dough mat to spread my dough because I can make the circles the same size or about the same size. So I aimed to make each circle about 10 inches big or long. And once I shaped it, I put each on a baking sheet with parchment paper on it while I shaped the next dough piece. Here I am adding the cinnamon sugar filling. I mixed half a cup of softened butter, half a cup of granulated sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. You can add more or less depending on your liking, but I go ahead and spread that all over the first layer. I added a second layer of dough on top of that. I try to seal the edges as best as I can, and then I add another layer of the cinnamon sugar filling. So you're gonna go ahead and repeat this step. So this here is the third dough piece that I am putting the cinnamon sugar filling on, and then I go ahead and transfer it to the other 2 pieces of dough that are already put together. So here I am, I'm trying to put as much as I can because this is the last layer that will have filling. So this is the last dough piece, and now I'm gonna put them all together. So on the top layer, you won't put any filling on it. You're just gonna seal everything as best as you can. I like to squeeze it down a little bit just to shape it a little bit better. And once I do that, I get like a lid of a mason jar and I put it in the middle of the dough. Once I do that, I go ahead and start to cut this dough into 16 pieces. Sounds like a lot, but I go ahead and cut it into 4, and then I cut those in half, and then those I cut in half again. So a total of 16 little slices. So here I'm gonna speed it up for you guys. That way I don't bore you doing this step all slow. So just go ahead and cut your dough as even as you can. And I like to kind of squeeze the top and bottom layers. That way when you twist them, they're kind of like stuck together. So here I'm slowing it down for you guys. I grab 2 little pieces of dough and I twist them 3 times. And then I squeeze the tip together. So here it goes again. We're going to grab 2 little pieces and then we're going to twist once, twice, and 3 times. And then you're going to squeeze until both sections stay together. So you're going to go ahead and do this all the way around until you do every single slice. And then once you do that, you're going to get an egg, whisk it, and then you're going to go ahead and put it all over your dough. And you're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And we're going to let this dough sit for a little bit while our oven preheats. And we are going to bake this for 30 to 35 minutes. I am going to leave this recipe down below for you guys in the description. I will also leave a recipe if you only want to do a sourdough dough rather than adding the instant yeast. I decided to do it this way this time because I was kind of in a rush and I wanted to gift this to someone. But this is what it looks like out of the oven. It's so beautiful and nice and toasty and brown. And then we go ahead and sprinkle some powdered sugar over it just to finish it off. And I think it looks so pretty, so beautiful for the holidays. I think this would be a great gift for anyone just to bring as a dish. And I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe and I hope it's easy for you guys. Let me know in the comments if you guys will be making this, and I will see you guys in my next video.